It is so good to see you today. Everybody check your watch. Because I have no idea how long I'm going to be up here. Man had been having some health problems. Oh, by the way, we're going to Proverbs 23. You don't need to look. Just put your book down. I'll tell you what it says in a minute. Man been having some health problems. He's having some bad episodes. He'd get to where he couldn't breathe. His face would turn red. He was having severe chest pains, and it kept getting worse and worse. He finally went to the doctor. The doctor ran a bunch of tests on him. Test came back, and he said, "We cannot come to a conclusion as to what your problem is." He said, your face turning red, you can't breathe, having severe chest pains. Obviously, you have a severe heart problem, but we don't know. There's nothing we can do for you. Man says, well, if I'm in that bad a shape, I'm going to live it up. I'm going to spend some of this money I've been hoarding. And he said one thing, he started doing things he'd never done, eating fancy foods and all that stuff. And he said, one thing I have always wanted to do, I wanted to have me a tailor-made suit. Went down to a local tailor shop, an old ancient Chinaman. Met him, and he said, I want to have a tailor-made suit. I want it all. I'm going to get a new outfit. I want new shoes, suit, shirt, tie. The old Chinaman backed up, looked at him, and said, shoe, 11D. Man said, that's right. He said, coat, 44 long. Man is astounded. He said, that's right. He said, waist, pants, 36, 32. Man just could not believe it. This man is dead on. Shirt, 16 and a half, 35. No, you missed it that time. I wear a size 15. Gentleman said, no, 16 and a half, 35. No, I have always worn a size 15. I wear a size 15 neck. Chinaman, no, 16 and a half, 35. Wear 15, can't breathe, face turned red, have severe heart pain. A friend of mine went to get some pants. He said, I wear a 40. But he said a 42 felt so good, I bought a 44. We're going to look at Proverbs 23, verse 7. And you don't need to look, because it's been so misunderstood and misread so many times, I don't want you to read it right now. I want to talk to you about what do you think. Proverbs 23, 7 says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Now, to understand what that means, we've taken it, we've misapplied it. But Solomon is warning, if you are invited to eat with a powerful, wealthy man, a ruler, a king, and you sit at the table with all of these dainties, this fancy foods, don't forget where you are and what's going on. And when you listen to this man, this powerful man, don't get carried away with what he says. Because what he says may not be what is in his heart. And it's as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Now, I'm going to ask you questions. What do you think? Now, that is a provocative question in itself, because it assumes right off the bat that you think. Which is not necessarily true. It's also provocative because it assumes that the questioner is wanting to know what you think. And that's not necessarily always true. Why is that question? What do you think? Why is that question so compelling? Now you think, what do you think? When someone asks you what you think, that means they have enough respect for you to want to know what's on your mind. That's a compelling question because we all know that what we think has a powerful impact on what we do and how we act. When I was a kid in North Carolina, I'll tell you this story real quick. I was a kid in North Carolina. I stepped on a rattlesnake, a timber rattler. It was about 5.5 feet long, had 5 rattlers and a button, and it's about as big around as my arm is now. And I stepped on that puppy, and he started singing me a tune. And I felt led to move. I didn't have to pray about it. I didn't have to think about it. I didn't have to call a board meeting. I didn't have to have a committee meeting. I felt led to move. On a gut level, I felt led, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm gone. And I left. I do not like snakes. I do not like snakes. Now, I know there's only 4 poisonous snakes in the United States. There's rattlesnakes, copperheads, cottonmouth, and coral. And actually, I'm only afraid of 4 kinds of snakes, but I do not like snakes. I don't like big ones, little ones, live ones, or dead ones. Other than that, I get along just fine with them. There was one of the Reeves boys up in this cove in North Carolina. He was a couple of years older than I was. His name was Nelson, and he was redheaded. Actually, he wasn't redheaded. He was orange-headed and covered with freckles. He knew I did not like snakes. And we'd be all roaming around through the woods or something, and he would eventually get behind me and find a stick or something. We'd get in a snaky-looking place, and he'd take that stick and hit me on the ankle and say, "Snake, snake, snake, snake." He knew what my reaction would be. That's supposed, when that about a gallon of adrenaline would hit my system, and that's supposed to put you in fight or flight mode. There was no fight mode there. It was all flight, honey. I was gone. He took great delight in doing that. What I'm saying is, there was no snake there when he did that. But I thought there was. And what I thought had a powerful impact on the way I acted. Did anybody here ever have someone take a big, juicy slice of lemon and did that make your mouth go to watering and pucker up? A little thing down here. If we had a chalkboard and we get some lady with long fingernails to come up, don't go there. You see, what we think has a powerful impact on what we do and how we react. Now, I want to ask you another question. How many of you want to prosper? Okay. The rest of you do not want. I do not want to prosper. Let me see your hand. Don't raise your hand. I don't. If you. Okay. Well, let's agree that everybody here wants to prosper. Well, 3 John verse 2 says, "Beloved, I wish above all things that you would prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers." Now, you want to prosper. God wants you to prosper. So why is it that so few of God's people ever really prosper? I'll tell you why. It's because there is something in the spiritual realm that controls health, wealth, and happiness in the natural realm. Now, when John said, I want you to prosper, God wants you to prosper. Prosper, three things. Now watch, three things. Prosper, that is financial, material prosperity. And be in health, that is physical prosperity, physical health. Even as your soul prospers, that is spiritual prosperity. So we're talking about three realms now. Three realms of prosperity. Now, there are some people that prosper in the material realm. I mean, it seems like they have the Midas touch. Anything they do turns to gold. They prosper, they make money, they make more money by accident than most people ever make on purpose. Thank you, sir. Offering $2,461. Excellent. That puts us a jump up. There are some people that prosper in the material financial realm, but they may be poverty-stricken in health or in the spiritual realm. There are some people that are healthy and strong, but they couldn't make $1. I mean, they have the Midas touch in reverse. They touch gold and it turns to mud. But they may be, they're healthy, they're strong, never have a sick day, but they may be materially bankrupt or spiritually bankrupt. And there are some people that are spiritually prosperous. I mean, if they pray for a brick wall to fall, don't stand close to the wall. They have insights into things that just astound you. They have spiritual prosperity. But physically, they may be sick all the time. And they may not have a dime. But spiritually, they're prosperous. So I'm just saying, don't be satisfied. What you think you are, you are. And don't be satisfied to be blessed in one area of your life. He wants you to prosper in all areas of your life. What you think controls the way you act, and what happens in your mind. Listen to me. What happens in your mind will happen in time. If you think you can, you can. Why do you think God is constantly telling people, Joshua, meditate on my word. Think about it. Meditate. Think. Concentrate. Dwell on it. Why? Because what you think affects the way you act. It affects what happens to you. And there's something going on in the spiritual realm that controls what's going on in the natural realm. What you think affects you. You are what you think you are. But I want to put another twist on it. You are what you think you are, but what you think also affects your attitude towards the people around you. You are what you think you are, but people are what you think they are. If a wife thinks her husband is a rat, he's a rat. If she thinks he's a hero, he's a hero. If parents think their kids are no good, they're no good. But if they think they're great, they'll be great. If you think your boss is a snake, he'll be a snake. But if you think he's all right, he'll probably be all right. Now, people may be a lot of things, but people are to you what you think they are. Now, stay with me. Your pastor is to you what you think he is. In Titus 1:1, Paul the apostle said to a young minister by the name of Titus, verse 1. He said, I am an apostle according to the faith of God's elect. He said, other words, I am what people think I am. I will be to you, Titus, whatever you think I am to you. Now, there are some people that look to me as their pastor. Some people look to me as the apostle, the bishop, the shepherd of their soul. But there's another group that looks to me in a whole different frame, and I won't tell you what they think. But I promise you this, I am to you what you think I am. You are what you think you are, and people are to you what you think they are. That may not be what they are, but they are to you what you think they are. What do you think? Because what you think affects the way you feel. The power of suggestion is a powerful thing. The same idea repeated over and over in your mind becomes a reality. If you tell yourself you're no good and worthless, and you listen to other people tell you you're no good and worthless, and you hang around with people who are no good and worthless, psychologically, you become no good and worthless. A suggestion planted in your mind, whether it is negative or positive, any suggestion that you plant in your mind or that you allow someone else to plant in your mind will produce fruit. Whether it's negative or positive, it will produce fruit. Whatever you sow, whatever thought you sow in your mind, you will reap what you sow. Now, some of you get out here sowing wild oats all week and come to church on Sunday morning praying for a crop failure. But you will reap what you sow. You be careful. I'm just saying, be careful. What you allow yourself to meditate on, to concentrate, to dwell on. And you be very careful what you allow other people to plant in your mind, because it will produce and it will bear fruit. You are what you think you are, and whatever you're thinking about, it's going to affect the way you feel. Now, most of us feel bad in one way or another. And most of us have some aches and some pains. And I dare say everyone here has something we could feel bad and depressed about. And the strange thing is, you know, when we feel bad, we want everybody to know how bad we feel. Because we want sympathy. We want attention. Oh, I don't want sympathy and attention. You lying through your teeth. We all like a little sympathy, and sometimes we will embellish how bad we feel, how sick we are, how miserable we are because we're needing some attention. Hello? Cindy had some surgery this week, gallbladder surgery. And I come by this, I didn't find out about it till later. I come by and I told her, hey, she's here. She's tough. I told her I was not real happy with her. Said, you could have at least let me know what was going on. Her attitude, well, there wasn't nothing you could do about it. Just pray for me, you know. But that's true. But anyway, she was not looking for sympathy except from Al. And he didn't get it. She didn't get any of it. me give you a news flash. People don't want to hear how bad you feel and how miserable you are and how sick you are. And they come up and say, how are you feeling? They do not want to know. They don't want to listen to chapter after chapter of how bad you feel, how sick you are, how miserable you are, how depressed you are, how discouraged you are. We do everything in our power to avoid pain. And here you are dumping all your pain on them. They will avoid you. They don't want to be around you. So just talking about it. Just quit talking about it. I mean, just saying I feel bad makes you feel worse. Instead of telling people how bad you are and how miserable you are and how sick you are and how bad you feel and how depressed you are, they ask you, say, how do you feel? I feel great. If I was any better, I'd have to be twins. I spoke to one of our teenagers today. Her mama was there. She was there. Mama told me, I said, how you doing? I'm doing great. I looked at the daughter and she said, I'm awesome. I said, yes. When you come, you may be having some aches and pains, but when you start telling them how great you are, how good you feel, you automatically present an image of health, wealth, prosperity, blessing, and you attract people like a magnet. If you want to repel them, just take the other end and start telling them how bad you feel. Now, some people, that's good. I got to give you a little break here. I am not through. I learned a long time ago, if you're in a crowded situation and it's not going the way you want it to, I'll tell you how to clear a room. Just start talking about Jesus. Hallelujah! Jesus loves you. They'll scatter like rats. What do you think? Because what you think also affects your happiness. Now, everybody wants to be happy. You have the constitutional guaranteed right for the pursuit of happiness. Doesn't guarantee you'll be happy. It said you can pursue it. We spend our lives in pursuit of happiness. But how many people do you know who are really happy? And how many people do you know who are they're not happy about anything? I mean, man, they are always down. Some people are so happy, they're so high, it looks like they'd get nosebleed from lack of oxygen. And some people, they're not happy. It doesn't matter. They win the lottery. They're miserable. They droop lip. They walk around with a face long enough to eat oats out of a stovepipe. They're not happy. And you can't make them happy. I don't care what you do. Happiness is feeling good about yourself. If happiness is what's happening around us, we don't have much to be happy about. I mean, you watch the news. You watch them blonde foxes on Fox. There's nothing to be happy about. It's all miserable. War, terrorism, inflation, gas prices, food prices, hurricanes and floods and disasters. Depressing. A couple of rapes and 2 or 3 murders thrown in to boot. I wonder what happened. Somebody just gave all of them a happy pill one morning when they showed up for work. What's a good happy pill? What? Jesus. That'll do it. I maybe need one. If you could be a fly on the wall in most homes, you'd be surprised at how little happiness there really is. Fussing and fighting is the rule rather than the exception. And yet the truth is, we're all trying to find happiness. Now, we all want to be happy, and yet we spend our time fussing and fighting with each other. Happiness is not something you find, church. It's not an accident. It doesn't come and go with the wind. You've got about as much chance of stumbling onto happiness as you do of inheriting $1 million from a rich uncle you didn't know you had. It's just not going to happen. Most people have the after, and I think this is a disaster. Most people have an after theory of happiness. After my workload gets a little easier, after I get a raise, after I get this paid off, after I get the house paid off, after I get the car paid off, after the kids get in school, after the kids get out of school, after they get out of the house, we're going to be happy. After is like tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. After never comes. If you're waiting on after something, quit waiting. Because happiness is a condition. Happiness is not getting what you want. Happiness is wanting what you've got. Happiness has to come from now, and it has to be made up of things that make up now. It's where you are now. It's what you are now. Happiness is a state of mind. It's a decision. You decide what emotions will rule your life. You decide to accept or reject defeat, to be a success or to be a failure. You decide if you're going to feel inferior and have that I can't do it attitude, or you can decide I can do all things through Christ which strengtheneth me. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. I have a friend of mine. It doesn't make any difference what comes up, what project is going on. His attitude is, we can make that happen. I love that attitude. We can make it happen. We can make it happen. Everybody say we can make it happen. We can make it happen. You know, you make a decision to be happy or sad, to feel good or feel bad. You make a decision. Jeremy used to tell me this all the time. How many have ever done something or said something to someone and you felt bad about it and beat yourself up? You may as well have taken one of them chains the Muslims used to beat themselves with and made your back bloody because you just beat yourself up because you said something or did something and it made you feel bad. Come on, how many have ever done that? Jeremy used to say this, Dad, I cannot feel bad enough to make anyone else feel better. You feeling bad does not make them feel better. Now think about it. Everybody ought to make a happy list. When you're feeling sorry for it, take your happy list out and look at it. What have you got to be happy about? Are you reasonably healthy? You are, or you wouldn't be here today. You're healthy enough to be here. You were able to get out of bed this morning. Any day you get up is a good day. Come on. You got your family. You live in America. You have opportunity. You have a chance to vote on Tuesday. If you don't vote, don't complain. And if you vote for the wrong, go ahead and complain. I don't want to start on that. I do not. I am not going there. You've got a lot to be happy about. You got a place to live. How about your church? How about getting happy about your church? Wow. Are you saved? happy about being saved. If you're saved, you're going to heaven. You don't have any other choice. I mean, where else? If you're saved, where else are you going to go? You just eliminated other options when you made that choice. Make your happy list. When you go to feeling sorry for yourself, take your happy list out and choose to be happy. I choose to be happy because I got up this morning. I'm reasonably healthy, got a good family, going to church. It's the day to go to God's house. Paul said it like this: whatsoever things are good, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are of good report, think on these things. Why? Because as you think in your heart, that's what you become. You can be happy or you can be sad. Think. David said it like this. King David. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits. But I don't feel good today. I don't care. Bless the Lord anyway. And forget not all his benefits. Why? Because when you get that frame of mind, you start feeling better. The truth is, we all find exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for bad people, you'll find them. Looking for good people, they'll be there. You can have a good job, bad job. Good family, bad family. Good church, bad church. You can feel good, you can feel bad. You can be happy, you can be sad. Because as a man thinketh in his heart, so is it. We are what we think we are. And people are to you what you think they are. Every day in the United States, 250,000 people die every day. Did you know we have been allotted a certain number of days? And we think, we got all these days. Our lifespan has been increased. We're living longer now than we have before, back till people quit dying years ago. They decided not to die, so they didn't die. They'd lived a long time. We're living our lifespan extended. Do you know, they talk about 70. I don't believe that. I believe we're supposed to live to be 120. When Moses said that our people are dying at 70, when they're supposed to be 120, he was complaining because they're dying too soon. God said, well, I got to kill them off so I can get the rest of you into the promised land. But anyway, let's use 70 as just a starting place. And those of us who are over 70, we don't care what the statistics say. We don't believe them anyway. But it's easy figuring. If you live to be 70 years, do you know how many days you've got? Oh, we think, boy, we got lots of days. Really? 70 years, you got 25,500 days. Now, I'm going to put you in the fit of depression. If you have any happy pills, take one now. Pass them around. The rest of us are going to need one too. But it'll be real short. I'll put you depressed for a real short period of time. If you're 35 years old, you know you've only got 12,250 days left. What about if you're 50? If you're 50, you got 7,775 days. What about 60? Oh, some of you running out of days in a hurry here. You're 60 years old, you got 4,125 days. Some of us have already used up all our days. We don't have any left. The fact is, we don't have as many days as we would like to think. And one day, we just look ripping the days off of the calendar. Just like they're nothing. Just like they're nothing. And And one day you're going to rip a day off, and you'll realize I don't have any days left. Now let's get out of this depression. What do you think? How would you live? How would you live today if you knew this would be the last day you would live? That when you went to bed tonight, you would die peacefully in your sleep, and this was the last day. You would not wake up in the morning. This would be your last day. How many think you might have a little different attitude today? I wonder what would happen if we all just lived every day as though it were our last day. I wonder if we'd be as sharp and as harsh and as critical with our husbands and wives, with each other. We sometimes get a little impatient with each other, get a little harsh. You probably don't. I wonder if we'd be as quick to lose our temper. Would you be as hard on your kids? How many of you know kids can drive you crazy? Mack, where'd you get this bad attitude? I inherited it from my kids. If this was going to be your last day, would you be as hard on your kids? What kind of attitude would you have toward your kids if you knew that when you tucked them into bed tonight, it'd be the last time you'd ever see them? What if they're already grown? Do you think you might want to just hug them and hold on to them a little bit? Tell them you love them. Look them in the eye and tell them how proud you are, and just touch them. Just touch them. Have to give me a second here. You can go home a minute. Love you. Proud of you. Love you. I don't know where Jeremy went. He said, my kids are grown. I'd give anything if I could hug my dad. Don't let the days go by without thinking that it might be your last. This was your last day. Would you be as worried about business and job, money and bank accounts? Or do you think you might be a little more concerned about spiritual things? I know there's a Kleenex here somewhere. I may need more than one. If you knew this was going to be your last days, do Do you think there's anything to keep you from being in God's house, fellowshipping with God and being with God's, fellowshipping with God's people? Because where two or three are gathered together, Jesus is there. Do you think you'd want to come just to sing one last time? And when Jock says, we're not going to sing that next song, would you be saying, oh, come on, let's sing one more. This is my last chance. Let's don't quit now. Would you want to hear, Pastor says, I'm through. No. Don't quit. Or do you think, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. I'm sorry. Do you think you might want to come, even if you felt bad, so you could encourage someone else who's fighting a battle and having a problem? Maybe they're discouraged and down, and they just need somebody to come along and say, is there something I can pray with you about? Is there someone I can encourage? This is my last time to encourage anybody. I'm just saying, would we have a different attitude? I come to the pulpit every week wondering, is this the last sermon I will ever preach? That's why I work so hard on every sermon. But it might be my last. I don't know. And the thing that is distressing, some of you are not even saved. One day you'll hear the last one. Will you still not be saved? It'd be a much happier world if we'd just learned the lesson that Jesus taught. It was in the song that Joe sang. If we'd just learned to live one day at a time. Jesus put it like this: take no thought for tomorrow, for the evil today is sufficient for the day. Don't worry about tomorrow. There's nothing you can do about tomorrow. You see, no man, God says, boast not thyself of tomorrow, for no man knows what a day may bring forth. Job said it this way: life passes with the swiftness of a weaver's shuttle. And so the Apostle James put it this way: life is but a vapor. It appears for a little while, and then it vanishes away. It's gone before you know it. You look back on our lives, most of us carrying a little age, we look back on our lives and say, where did it go? Where did it go? That's why Joe and I decided we would. I think God decided it for us that we would start the sheep shed, because we did not want to waste our lives. Whatever's left, we didn't want to waste it. One day it will be the last day for you. We just realize how fortunate we are just to have this day. I think we would avoid saying and doing a lot of things that cause so much hurt and pain and depression and discouragement in other people. Heartache, sadness. And we wouldn't worry about a lot of things that we worry about. I'm through. Every day is a bonus, because no day is guaranteed. When are some of you going to get saved? You knew I was coming to that, didn't you? When are some of you going to quit putting it off? Some of you, you've had an experience with Jesus Christ. There was a time in your life when the fire of God burned hot in you, and right now you're about as cold as you can get. You know it, I know it, and God knows it. Some of you need to rededicate your life. You just need to come and say, I am not faithful. I'm not a tither. I'm not living for God the way I want to. I want to rededicate my life. And some of you just need to come and say, I want to get saved. I'm not right with God. Some of you haven't been baptized. If this was your last day, you think there's anything to keep you from getting saved or getting rededicating your life or getting baptized or joining the church, you'd be flocking down here. And some of us, the others, ought to be flocking down here and say, wait a minute, don't take no chances here. I'm too close. Come on, church. Some of you haven't joined the church. What are you waiting on? Cast your lot. You close your eyes. Father,